Today is the day I'm finally so thrilled that I'm able to make this interview happen. You asked, and I'm finally delivering. And I think we tried to make this happen for quite a while, but here with me today is JJ Rabone. JJ, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. We were just talking about, we're about 5 months in quarantine here in LA. Yes. How's quarantine been treating you?
It's actually not bad for me. I'm just getting creative over here. I made like 450 masks by myself. I have nobody working for me, so I'm just like mask, mask, mask. Yes, I'm making masks. I'm training. I'm teaching online, and house calls and stuff. So I'm keeping myself really busy.
I'm
actually
happy
busy
to hear that. And I've seen your masks, and your masks are really cute. So you're selling them, right? People can go and like click on your Instagram and purchase.
I just started making masks for myself because I didn't want to wear those medical ugly masks. I don't like the color. It's white or blue. So, I started using kimono fabric, and, I just made one mask. I posted on my Instagram just to post it. And then next morning it was 20 orders. Like, can you make me one? Can you make me two? And I'm like, oh my God, okay. And then that slowly started happening.
You're in business.
My own business.
But that's good, because all of us have to be creative and sort of adapt and pivot in a moment like this when you just can't be out auditioning and traveling the world right now. So that's smart.
It's fun. And then I never made time for these things. It was all about dance related, and I love creative projects, but it was always the excuse that I don't have time. I'm busy. I'm tired. Like, okay, no more excuse. I'm just going to do it. So it's really fun. It's really fun.
You've got a talent for it. Let me tell you, I can't even sew a button, so I'm impressed.
Oh, really?
I'm terrible. Okay. Anything small or detailed, I can't do. I don't have the patience for it. So,
wow.
So I admire all the work that you're doing, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoy it.
Well, as I was telling you very early on, I said, it's interesting. People always like to catch up with contestants on So You Think You Can Dance, but it's been a lot of Dancing with the Stars fans who have followed your ballroom journey. And so they've had a lot of curiosity about how you got started and everything. And so I just want to backtrack a little bit. For those of you who don't know, you were on season 12, Stage versus Street, and you were one of the street dancers.
Yes.
Made it all the way to the top 10. What inspired you to start training in a different style after you did the tour for So You Think?
I was already trained in different styles. When I moved out here, when I was 21 years old, the first thing I told myself was, I'm going to start taking ballet class, jazz class, hip hop, locking, popping, house, whacking, breaking, everything that I can do. So in 5 years, I'm going to be good at everything. So that was my plan. From age 21, for like a good 5 years, I was just like doing everything.
You were a wise 21-year-olds.
I knew it was gonna be good in the future, like if I start everything, I didn't take Latin Ballroom. I remember searching about it, but it was just too expensive. So I was like, okay, maybe that's something that later on, if I feel comfortable, I can take private classes. But anyway, so I kept training and started working, and I auditioned for So You Think You Can Dance. And when they told me I was going to be in top 20, what they do is to make sure you start taking classes that you don't feel comfortable in. So for me, it was Latin Ballroom. I have to start training. So I found Oleg Astakov, my teacher and partner now, online, went to his class, fell in love to the style right away. And while I'm training in class, I'm already thinking, after the show, this style is going to be something very, very important in my life.
Wow.
So, yes, I already knew. I fell in love.
What was the thing that made you fall in love? Like, was it the rhythm of it? Was it the feeling it gave you?
It made sense with the personality part. I feel like Latin Ballroom is very bipolar expressions. Like, you're sexy, you're sad, you're so excited. Like, everything just happens.
Drama.
Yes, drama. That was perfect for me. I'm like, oh my God, I can be so dramatic in this style. And, I was training hip hop, and everything was about the groove and like, and I kind of wanted to feel sexy about myself. And that was the perfect place to do it. So I took like 15 classes prior to the show. And then so I left the practice and I started working on the show, and then I fractured 2 ribs, and I was out for like 7 weeks. But then I hop on the tour. While I was doing tour, I was dying to come back and just train and start competing. So I'll do like a FaceTime class with my teacher so that during the tour I'm still like, I don't forget
Oh,
my
that's
passion.
good. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people go out on tour and it's just like they forget.
It's very hard to stay on it
It's
because your
impossible.
schedule's just like all over the place. You're so exhausted and you don't know what city you're in. You
And I
don't know.
don't know if people remember, you guys did 70 cities. You did like a fall leg and then a winter leg,
Yes.
which was
Yes.
unusual. Usually they just do a fall leg for So You Think.
Oh, really?
Yes, you guys were, because you guys did really, really well in terms of the tour. Everyone was jealous. You guys did so many
Oh,
cities.
wow. I didn't know that. But yeah, so I came back and right away I'm like, back to training. Let's compete. What's the date? Let's go. So from there on, it was just like all about Latin Ballroom for me.
Wow. And you compete. Like, this is obviously, you're probably not competing right now, but I know you were competing in 2019.
Before
Yes.
that, I came back from the
I
tour.
mean, as late as 2019. Yeah,
Yes,
for
that
sure.
was my
So
competition. Yeah.
is there a particular style within Latin Ballroom that you just like, you hear the music and you're like, I'm on it. Like, this is my favorite.
So cha-cha's really bubbly and just like strong, but then I also love rumba because it's so milky and you can be so sexy and take your time and all that. So these are the top 200% that I like. But I mean, every style is just different personality. Again, I can be so dramatic that I can just let it go, and I love that.
So, this is what I find so fascinating too, because I love watching all of the videos you do with Paul. You guys did a really cute one back in May that I was like, oh, I love this so much. Using Zoom.
Quarantine.
Yes. I was like, wait a minute, but my hand doesn't go all the way through the way it did this video.
That's right. That's right. I live by myself. He doesn't live by himself. So he has help to, throw the arm on his end. But I was over here. There's this one scene that I have to pull his shirt. And then I just left the shirt on this side. And I just pulled it, but it didn't look like a real person. So I had to put the shirt on my pillow to make it look like I'm pulling from somebody's body. So things that we had to be creative for that was fun. It was really fun.
Well, that's what I love. I'm like, because I was thinking, I'm like, I know you guys were not in the same apartment, obviously, but I was like, I wonder who's spitting on Paul. the spit of the water at the end.
Oh, that was fun too. I had to set up pile of towel because I kept spinning into that same section. So the lighting's over here, the towel's over here, and then the pillow man is over here, and then the whole setting was just so funny.
I don't know if people realize how tactical it is, and the camera switches, so you have to mirror what you're doing and making sure you're on the right side of all this happening.
That's what happened when we were rehearsing. On my side of the footage, it's making sense, but on Paul's side, he's like, are you sure it's making sense? I'm like, trust me, like, let me just figure this out. So one person's always like, have no idea what's happening, but the other person knows what's happening. So it's a really tricky.
It is, and your brain has to kind of do some reversing.
We attempt to do another video, but then the quarantine kind of loosened up, and it's not like a quarantine right now. I don't even know what time zone,
We're in this like weird limbo where like you can't get your hair done at most salons, but a lot of hairstylists, like my hairstylist did it on my sidewalk. She like colored my hair. I mean, but people are just trying to figure out like how to make money and how to keep their business going. And like the mall's not open, but other stores are open. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird time.
We're in this weird limbo.
Yeah.
When it comes to your ballroom, has your training helped you when it comes to auditioning for jobs and things like that? Things that you wouldn't have been called in had you not trained for Latin Ballroom?
Yes, there's been more jobs for me with Latin Ballroom mixed in it, because me and Paul are working on Latin Ballroom. So I guess he comes from Latin Ballroom. Like he's like all different styles as well. I'm too, but he's very strong in Latin Ballroom.
Right.
I'm very strong in hip hop. So we kind of share that information and mix it into something. So it's not only I'm hip hop or only I'm Latin Ballroom, I can just mix it up and kind of,
Fusion.
yeah, just together, just put it together. So yeah, a lot of people are interested in different style, different dynamic, and some jobs requires not only cha-cha, right? Like they also want you to do hip hop. Like Dancing with the Stars, I was so happy to, perform on that show last year for 2 different weeks.
What weeks did you do?
Finale, and
Yep.
then I think 2 weeks before finale when Kat Burns was
Oh, yeah.
choreographing for the opening, which was so amazing.
Which was her like classic jazz. I mean, she did a real, but were you part of the crew that like she had started to dance and then at the last minute they sort of switched around the whole thing?
She started to dance with, how did
She
I
had a different
start?
concept.
Yes, the beginning was all of us, and it
Yep.
came into the pros, and
Yep.
then towards the end there was dancers in the back. That was us, and then
Yep.
yeah, everything.
Yeah, because I know that like whatever concept she originally had decided for that, Dancing with the Stars scrapped it at the last minute, and then it wound up being the classic jazz piece.
Oh,
So she, as a choreographer, she'd like turn around like a whole piece.
I do remember that.
Remember
It was
that?
like last minute, so many things were happening. But she's great. She's just so fast, and like I
She's a
love
two-time
that.
Emmy winner. She can do it. She can handle it.
And the funny thing is, my dream was to be on Dancing with the Stars. And 2 years ago, 2 years prior to being on the show, I had a dream of being on Dancing with the Stars. So next morning, I put a screenshot of just like me, talking about, oh, I had a dream about my dream coming true. And Kat replied to that, what's your dream job? And I said, Dancing with the Stars. And she goes, oh, you'll get it. 2 years later, she's choreographing the opening number and I'm off. And I'm like, Kat, you have no idea. It's like she has the power and the energy, and like
She's
I
like a
love
fairy godmother.
she is. She's amazing. I thank her so much. Like,
I
and
love
it's like, it's you too, it's you. It's you. I'm like, oh, me.
Oh.
But yeah, she was so sweet. And yeah, it was great. I love being on the show, and I wish if I had more Latin ballroom choreography, because a lot of things were like, backup dancers are like some moments, like 2/8 here, maybe 4 seconds here.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish there's like a full on cha-cha or
and then you go across that ballroom floor, like on the dial.
Yeah.
Camera. Come on. You're like, I got this.
Yeah, that's my next goal, 100%.
Did you do the Tommy Tong Penny Dreadful scene?
Which one was that?
There's a big dance scene, Penny Dreadful, the Showtime show earlier this year. I didn't know if you were in it because there was a lot of ballroom dancers wound up doing it.
Oh, no.
No, because it was like, and I was like, oh, I wonder if she was a part of that, because you would have been perfect for it.
Oh my God, anything ballroom related, I'm just like,
I know.
Like,
Do you know Tommy Tong? Do you know who he is?
no.
I'll have to show you his Instagram, and you need to meet him because he does a ton of dance stuff for the Showtime series Penny Dreadful. They used like 100 dancers.
Oh wow.
We'll make the connection.
Yes.
Yes.
First.
I know, because when we all come out of this weird quasi quarantine and everyone goes back to work. I mean, hopefully they're hiring everyone again. So
right. But the great thing right now is everything is submitted online, and you don't have to actually go to the audition and go through the whole process. Like I just finished editing my reel for this year.
Good.
So I just uploaded and submitting, and yeah, it's online now.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a game changer for the industry. Things are going to change the way we do things. I mean, obviously my job, here I am. I'm like, this was my guest bedroom. It's now a TV studio. Right. You just kind of alter things as you need to, but things will go back to set and everyone should have their materials ready to go. So I'm glad to hear that your reel is up to date and off so you can submit it. Have you thought about the fact that, So You Think You Can Dance was 5 years ago? Do you believe that?
Wow. Making me feel old. Thank you.
You're not old. You're not old.
Older.
I don't know. I've covered series long enough too, and I'm like, oh wow. But it's interesting, like those 5 and 10 year milestones. Does it feel like yesterday, or does it feel like a long time ago to you?
I have no time concept. 2 days ago and 2 months ago and 2 years ago are very similar to me. It's
Mhm.
very weird. I'm like so in the moment that I don't, this series doesn't make any sense. Like I don't know the time frame. So
Right.
5 years, oh wow. If you say 5 months, like okay. I was like, okay, okay, it was my past. That's how I feel about wow, 5 years.
Do you feel like it was a good launching pad for you? I mean, you had already been working, but did you feel like it took you to like another level just from doing the show?
After doing that show, because that show was my dream for eight years. I auditioned for that show 8 years prior to the season I was on.
So 2007, and then you wound up on 2015.
Um,
Wow.
but then I got cut right away. I still remember till this day that I was horrible in that round, like just freestyling. But it was like I was so nervous, and it was like cut. You wait for 10 hours and then dance
Cut.
for 20 seconds and cut.
Were you dancing for the producers, not even for the judges? Yeah,
Exactly.
that early rounds.
Yeah,
You
that
weren't
round.
ready. That's all it is. Like, the universe
Yeah,
is like, you wait.
yeah. So every year, every time I hear about the audition, I was so nervous because I remember that feeling that I was denied, I wasn't good enough. I'm like, so every year I was like, oh, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, all the way into I was 29 years old. If I miss this season,
This is it.
this is it, girl. Just go. So
This.
I did it.
I didn't realize you were 29 when you did the series. I thought you were like 22.
Oh wow. Thank
Yeah.
you. 29.
You've got a
But
great
then
baby face.
after on, I found out that when you audition, you can be 30. So I actually had one more year. But then good thing I didn't know that.
Because it was the babies the next year.
Exactly. So that was my last chance.
See, there's always, I don't know if people realize this. There's always something about timing, and like you weren't ready in 2007, and maybe you could have auditioned for 2013. You could have talked yourself into waiting if you had known that rule, but then you wouldn't have been eligible because then your age was, you had to be what, I think
Right.
8 to 13. So you were meant to be on season 12.
And plus, it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to prep my audition piece for 2 months to audition. 3 days before the audition, randomly, I'm like, so you think you can dance? What's up with that show? I searched it online. It says audition in 3 days. I'm like,
In
oh my
LA.
God, in LA.
LA.
And I'm like, oh my God, should I do it? I should do it. And then so it was only 3 days of like, oh, am I going to do this? Versus 2 months of preparation and just like, being nervous.
Sometimes I think not putting the pressure on yourself of like the buildup, you just
Right.
go, whatever happens, happens. Here we go. And you do it, and you do your best because you've taken the expectations off yourself.
100%. So that's how everything kind of went smoothly. And because it was such a big dream job for me, once I was done with the show, there were so many things like I chopped my hair off and I'm like, I'm not going to go to these kind of audition anymore.
No more JJ bun. I used to wear. Oh, I wore the JJ bun one a week on the after show. I can't. I think we had Dave Scott on, and I was like, I'm wearing my JJ bun.
Well, JJ bun turned into a JJ bang.
I didn't do that. I have done a bang, but not a heavy bang. So
Not like that. Okay.
yeah.
But so yeah, and I started throwing a lot of clothes away because I was like, I'm not gonna go to like Disney auditions. I turned 30 and I did my dream job, so I'm like starting to cut off what I really want to do and what I don't want to do, and so it was a big change in my mind.
Wow.
Rather than I started booking more, or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
And but when you're intentional about something, it's good because you're like, this was a big chapter of my 20s. And
yes.
I did it. I accomplished it. So here's what my 30s are about. That's kind of cool.
Yes. And then I think when I was already on the tour for So You Think, I was already dreaming about being on Dancing with the Stars. So my focus was already on the next one. And
check.
But then, so I remember telling my agent, my next goal is to be on Dancing with the Stars. And then they were like, okay, submit stuff. And I'm like, please wait 2 years so that I can really train and I know what I'm doing. I don't want to be like faking it and like submit and hoping, because I want to feel comfortable like what I'm doing. So I remember my agent said, well, while you're training and getting ready, there's other people that's just submitting and just making it happen. But I'm like, I know, but they're them. Like, I need to do it my way. Let me really learn what's happening in the style. So that's what I did. And then slowly started getting more Latin Ballroom jobs.
And then you did it twice. You didn't even do it once.
Right. Yes. Yes.
That's incredible. What is that next goal then? Because you've already accomplished the So You Think and the Dancing with the Stars.
Well, I want to be on Dancing with the Stars.
You want
Like,
to be a pro.
yeah.
Throw it out there. Say it. Say it, JJ. Because if you say it, the universe hears you.
I know. That's my big goal. I keep telling my close friends and my agent. I haven't told anybody like this big, but
Yell it.
yes,
Yell it.
I would love to be on the show. It's just such a great show.
It is. Now, have you submitted your reel for season 29? They have not settled on the pros 100%.
They haven't, right? Well, I've been talking to my agent, and I just uploaded the new reel yesterday, so I'm just gonna hit them up and make sure they can send it.
Monday. Have them submit it. Just send it off. Yeah.
Maybe they're working Saturday, Sunday. Who knows?
I know. Or submit it tomorrow. Submit it right now. But no, I mean, they haven't settled on the pro cast for season 29.
Don't they always say that? They're not.
You know what? Here's the thing. They are, because there's always changes and that they worry about like who the celebrities are. I mean, last year, the pros all found out 2 days before they went to Good Morning America to announce the cast. So it is late. And this year there's a lot of changes because Tom Bergeron is no longer there and Tyra Banks is there. And I think that there's an opportunity for more diversity in the pro ranks that we haven't seen. That's why I'm saying submit. Go. No. I'm going to talk you into this.
Thank you. They haven't got the dates out yet, right?
No, they don't have they haven't announced the official premiere date. I think they're just kind of like making sure that everything's kind of settled. But I do know that the costume and wardrobe department has gone back to work. So they're at least starting to set up. So I think that they're going to try and keep with that mid-September to late September start date. My guess, this is only my guess, I think that they're going to start the day after the Emmys. So the primetime Emmys are September 20th. I think they'll start September 21st.
Interesting.
I don't have any information. That's me just like thinking, because ABC has the Emmys this year too. So they're like, we'll have a big week. We'll do the Emmys. And then we've got this big premiere, if they can do it, the next day.
Well, we talked about it. Let's see.
Let's just throw it out there.
But yeah, that's my main focus right now. I'm still training every day, every other day probably. Depends on my other work, but just keeping myself busy.
That's good though. I mean, and I think that's important because I always say to everyone, there's no rule book for a pandemic. We don't know how we're supposed to act or what we're supposed to do. So I'm just kind of like every day I'm like, if my body feels like it needs to move and work out, that's what I do. The other days where I'm like, I just want to lay on the couch, I'm like, I'm going to do that.
True. Very true. I did kind of cut some, because I teach a lot of private classes, but then I realized that I have no time for myself or my new project. So I had to cut down a lot of privates so that I have time for me, like, last minute submission and I'm ready instead of, oh my God, I have no time and how am I going to squeeze that in and stress
You're doing it at midnight and you're tired and.
Right. So now I'm more like ease into open whatever opportunity comes in.
We just slid in the Dancing with the Stars Pro. So I'm like, I like to manifest people's dreams. So let's make it happen, JJ.
Yes.
I'm all on it now.
I'm going to tag you once it comes true.
I know. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be amazing? I'd be so excited for you. No, I joke, but I had, do you know little Eliana Walmsley? Now she's like 13 now, but I had her on my show. She was like, I want to be Clara in Radio City Nutcracker. And I was like, well, manifest it. And I'm like, if you book it, I'm going to New York to see you. she booked it. So I flew to New York City. I had such a busy December, and I had a 36-hour window to like fly to New York and go see the show. And that's what I did. I spent 36 hours in New York and then like flew on a plane after I saw the show.
Wow.
It was amazing though, because it's Radio City. I got a private tour of the stage too, which was for a nerd like me was amazing. But also now that they canceled the show for this coming December, just because of COVID and everything, I'm like, thank goodness I went, because, you know, I know Eliana was hoping to go back for a second year. That opportunity doesn't happen. So it reminds, you know, it's just a good reminder of like your thing of like, so you think audition, do it. And for me, I was like, okay, I have 36 hours and you just book it and go.
Yeah. That's my thing right now. The moment you think about something, I make it happen, because then if you leave it there, you're gonna be like, but wait, but do I? But there's a lot of that excuses and maybe the time and blah blah blah. So the moment something hits my brain, like, okay, thanks for the sign. I'm just gonna do something. That's how.
It's a good reminder to all of us, honestly, because I think we talk ourselves out of it, or we second guess ourselves.
But if you do it in 5 seconds, you have no time to second guess. You just do it
enough time. So yeah, and that's the great thing, is that those goals then happen because you made that split decision instead of sitting back and going, let me just think about it.
Yeah,
let me talk myself out.
I was scared. I used to be scared about mentioning that I want to be on Dancing with the Stars and be a pro. I used to be so scared, because it's like, that if somebody thinks like, what, like, no, it's okay for me to dream anything I want.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, we want you on the show. I was like, that was so much fun. No, and I think you have such a great story too. I think, you know, that's what I've said. I've had a lot of Dancing with the Stars fans like talk about you, because they've seen you, you know, sort of transform into this Latin ballroom dancer, which is fantastic. And I bet you can't wait to get competing again too.
Ooh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Well, competing part is like, I'm not really competing. I'm just performing there, and it happens to be a competition. So it's more like the performance side, just like that feeling.
So much to really dive into. And I always tell people, I'm like, if you've never been to a ballroom competition, go, because it is the best soap opera you will ever see. It's right out on that dance floor.
Right. When I first went to, when my partner took me to the competition, I wasn't ready to compete. I was just there to watch the competition. There is this old lady, 92 years old, competing, 92 years old, hitting the cha-cha moves in a dress, in heels, with makeup and hair and everything.
Yes.
When I saw that, I was like, thank God, I know I can dance forever. I can compete forever. And this is my place. Like, I want to be.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, dances for everybody. And like ballroom's I love that aspect of it. My first ballroom competition, I went to Ohio Star Ball, and yeah, big one, right? I was doing some broadcasting there. But I went to that big Saturday night competition with the pros, and a couple got into a fight on the dance floor. Like, where the partners got mad at each other because someone sort of stumbled or whatever, and they fought the whole time through the dance. And it was the greatest soap opera I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, this is amazing.
The energy is intense. I mean, they train so much. I was shocked that you use the same routine for, like, some people use it for 10 years. They just keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and working on the same movement for so many years. You know, coming from hip, I'm like, okay, what's the next one competition done? Next competition, what's the routine? He's like, no, you didn't even kill this routine. You have to keep working on this same routine. Like, okay.
You're like, I better love this.
Yeah, it's a crazy
That's
world.
amazing. Do you know what your fall looks like at all? Are you going to continue with the teaching?
There are some talks.
Besides getting you on Dancing with the Stars.
Besides that, there are some talks about different gigs. I don't know if it's confirmed, but there's a lot of submissions happening too. So
good.
That, and I am working on some project in Japan through Zoom, which is great. I can be in the creative team to make that happen. So things are always constantly happening, but we'll see.
Do you miss traveling? Because I miss traveling.
Well, I traveled to Japan in June.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to quarantine 2 weeks, and they're so strict in Japan that if your family member doesn't come pick you up at the airport, you have to quarantine in the hotel, or they don't let you go, or it's very, very, yeah, you cannot just walk out without signing.
So you literally, a family member had to pick you up and then you quarantined for 2 weeks at their house.
Yes, correct. And then the health department will hit you up every day. How's your health? Do you have fever? So every day you're like, nope, I'm doing good. Nope, family member's good. Nope, 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 nope. 2 weeks, and then finally you can walk out.
And that is why Japan's doing much better than us. Yes. Yeah, that makes it, I was like, I have friends that are coming here and she's coming in from Australia. She does not have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
No, yeah. When I came back, all I get was one text message when I landed and said, make sure you take care of your health for 14 days. I'm like, I will take care of myself.
This is crazy. It's crazy. Oh, this is why we're still wearing masks and in our house.
So because of that, traveling, yes, I would like to travel if everything is over and then you don't have to worry about quarantine. Yes, but then if you have to think about the quarantine, I'd rather just stay here and work on the stuff that I want to work on.
Yep. A lot of good time for yourself.
Yes.
JJ, this was such a pleasure and such a treat to catch up with you.
Thank you. Finally, we were planning this for so long.
So long, but we made it happen. And I was like thinking the other day, and I'm like, okay, I need to do some interviews. And I'm like, who have I missed? And I'm like, JJ. Like literally right when I sent you the DM is when I thought of it. I was like,
oh, wow. Thank you for having me.
So glad we made this happen, and we're gonna get you on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm looking forward to more videos. You and Paul like do it because you guys are adorable together. It's fun to watch. It really is.
It's awesome.
Excellent. Well, take care and be safe, and hopefully I will see you in person at some point.
Yes. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, JJ.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.